Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents. In today's episode, Smug Karen takes my car keys because I can't possibly be the owner. Earns herself a ride in the back seat of one of our county's finest. Entitled mom stops me from being a porch pirate. And wants me to stop shoveling my driveway. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Smug Karen takes my car keys because I can't possibly be the owner. Earns herself a ride in the back seat of one of our county's finest. This is just a throwaway because I don't care to stick around for long. But this incident was so stupid that I can't really help but share the story since my friends keep telling me to. What I find most weird about this is that my car wasn't anything super special. It was just a yellow 09 V6 Chevy Camaro with black stripes. When I bought it, it was super cheap because the passenger side door had been smashed in somehow and there was already 130,000 miles on the odometer. But the title was still good somehow. No idea why, nor do I really care. It was sold to me via a proxy. All I know was the car looked like a good deal, so I bought it. A friend of mine who works in auto body fixed it for me. He said that most of the damage was to the door itself, and I just needed a new door after he made a few tweaks to make sure everything was straight. Together we managed to find a door at a salvage yard that was the same color. A little work and the car looked almost new. And it became my fun ride to commute to work or drive around when I didn't feel like using my other car. I didn't do any modifications to it. I'm not one of those guys that's into speed or crazy mods. I liked the car because it looked cool and the gas mileage wasn't so bad with the V6. In fact, I wanted a V6 Camaro because I heard that they're usually in better condition than ones with a V8 because people drive the V6 more for looks than power, and don't gas it as much. I drove that Camaro for a year before running into a random Karen at a supermarket last year in September. Those places tend to draw Karens in regularly. Especially in the state I live in. I've seen many Karens, but was lucky to hardly ever be noticed by them. I was shopping for some stuff to make dinner and was about to head home when I found the Karen with her young son all over my car after exiting the store. I'm guessing the boy was around 4 years old. And his mother was taking pictures of the kid sitting on my hood while the kid kept smiling and gleefully saying Bumblebee. Yes, I understand the reference, and I've heard it all before. I don't like people messing with my property, and told the kid to get off. The Karen took one look at me and told me to mind my own business. Now I'm 29M, but I have a bit of a baby face. And my casual clothing made me look like a teenager. So I guess to her, I couldn't be someone who'd have anything to do with such a nice car. That's actually a pretty common car. I told the Karen to get off my Camaro, and she bluntly told me there was no way it was my car because I'm too young. I pulled out my keys and hit the alarm button on the remote. That made the alarm start blaring for a second and her kid jumped off while screaming and crying because I'd frightened him. But rather than pay attention to her crying child, the Karen came running at me full speed and managed to shove me hard enough that I fell over. The next part is a bit hazy. I got a bump on the head and that crazy bee **** slurred every word she was screaming at me. She stepped on my arm and pulled the keys from my hand before I really had a chance to react. Though she didn't really hurt me much. She was not a big woman, only around 5 feet 2 inches or so and a twig, while I'm 6 feet 0 inches and over 170 pounds. When I got to my feet, she was comforting her crying kid and telling him that I was a mean person. I told her to return my keys, but she got hissy and said there was no way the Camaro was mine. I again stated it was, and I would only give her one more chance to return my keys. She didn't. Instead, she handed them to her kid, who proceeded to start playing with the buttons on the remote and unlock the doors. I had enough and got my phone out to call the police. When the Karen saw I was on the phone, she started screaming and charging at me again. Though this time I easily dodged her and she nearly fell on the asphalt and screamed I'd assaulted her. I never even touched her and said as much out loud. The 911 operator was listening to everything that was going on and I quickly told her where we were while this insane woman was still screaming at me. and 2 police cars had shown up before long. At this point, the Karen had locked herself in my car with her son and started the engine to run the AC. I explained everything to police, and they knocked on the window of my Camaro to get the Karen to open it and give them her side of the story. She claimed the car to be hers, and that I was just some stupid broke-ass teenager that tried to carjack her. Then bragged that she'd taken me down. The officer asked if that meant she'd shoved me over, to which she bluntly said yes. I told the police to look in my glove compartment. In there was my insurance card and a copy of my registration. And they could compare the name on my license. When the Karen heard that, she got out of the car and finally admitted it wasn't hers. But then said there was no way it could be mine. And that she just took the keys from me to find the real owner. That quickly earned her some shiny new bracelets, and she was put screaming into the back of a police car. The parking lot had cameras, so it was easy to prove the assault. Though I only really got scratches, a bruise on my arm where she'd stepped on it, and a small bump on the head. After the Karen was taken back to the station, they found she was high on drugs. Which explains why she was so nuts. I of course pressed charges. Though my testimony wasn't really needed since the police had both CCTV from the parking lot and the audio from my phone call. It turned out to be the Karen's third offense, and she got 2 years in prison. Oh, and her kid was taken from her. The whole incident made me rethink owning the Camaro because it had been a magnet for people that bothered me a lot. So I sold it. Basically got back everything I had into it anyway. So I broke even. I doubt I'll want to own another sports car again. I witnessed a situation like this at a Walmart, but Karen didn't just take the keys and sit in the car, a Mustang. She drove off the parking lot and wrecked it at an intersection a few miles down the road while higher than a kite. What happened after? Slurred words. Yep, that figures. Every time I see behavior like hers in these stories, I usually think drugs. Hopefully she didn't do any damage to it. Also hope that poor kid has a decent dad around, because he likely won't be seeing mom around for a while. Cops could have charged her with DUI. A small bump on the head. Small bumps on the head are no joke. I hope you're alright, but even small bumps can become serious concussions. Love your car, OP. I'm a car person too, and I completely understand the love of cars. You know it's fiction when you get all the arrest details, including drug testing, prior history, legal resolution, and conviction. This is one of the craziest Karen stories I've ever heard. She actually got in your car? This is an 11 out of 10 Karen at its best. I'm glad she got put in her place. You have a calmer mind than me. After she knocked me down, I would have gotten up and started throwing punches. Entitled Mom stops me from being a porch pirate. This happened to me a few hours ago, and I'll try to keep it brief. About a week ago, I ordered Alpha Sapphire, and today it arrived. My friend and I walk home together after school, so I, seeing the notification that my package arrived to my house, decided to walk up my front porch to check my mailbox. Let me remind you again, this is MY mailbox, not some random MFS packages. My friend had left by this point, so it was just me on my front porch. Well, it was just me until I hear someone clear their throat from behind me. I turn around to this lady and her son. She says, "Excuse me, the owners would be quite upset if they knew you were taking their packages." I laughed and said, "Ma'am, if you actually knew them, you'd know they'd be happy if I brought their packages in." She responds with, "Aha. How about you put those packages back where they belong?" I respond with, "Yeah, in my house." I gesture to my house. "So, I'll be doing that." She says, "There are so many porch pirates in this damn neighborhood, how do you feel setting this example for my child?" I have to mention here, I know everybody who lives on my street, and she doesn't live here. At this point, I'm starting to get tired, so I turn around and ring the doorbell. "Happy?" I say. She responds, "I'm not moving out of this stairwell until the owners of the house come out, you know." I nod in a sarcastic way. It took a solid minute, but eventually my mom opens the door. She notices the woman before me. "Can I help you?" My mom asks the lady. Yes, actually, do you know this boy? The lady responds. I wave to my mom and she audibly laughs. You serious? This is my son. The lady gawks and then walks away. My mom asked what that was about and I explained. IG, she's coming from a good place, but WTH, lady? You didn't recognize her as living on your street. She could have been a porch pirate herself. LMAO, the hypocrisy if that's true. She probably was and was trying to scare off OP. Or she is a porch pirate and she was trying to scare off the competition. She could have been hoping that no one answered the door, the package put back in the box, and the competition moves on. Once the coast is clear, she takes the package. Or someone from the neighborhood trying to actually do a good deed. Something similar happened to me once, but I actually own the house. I was getting a new laptop delivered, and since I know the UPS guy, he hid it for me because I was volunteering with my kiddo's school. I ran home super fast and grabbed it and threw it in the truck and went back to the school. That same day, a lady gave my own husband a description of my truck and he was like, yeah, I'm married to that porch pirate. Why not just go into your house and leave her to wonder if you're also a house pirate? As a mom, that woman would have gotten the chewing out of her life had she dared to stop my kid on his own porch. M wants me to stop shoveling my driveway. I should explain where my house is situated for this to make sense. I live directly next to a parking lot that has a daycare next to it, but there is enough room so that when the snowplows come, they create a snowbank on some grass in between my driveway's fence and the parking lot. It was getting late, so I decided to shovel, and I should mention that the kids, of which there are 3, like to carve out the bank, throwing snow onto the lot, and then bunker down and throw snowballs onto cars and passerby, and the parents do absolutely nothing about it. When I shovel, I like to throw the snow onto the bank, keep in mind, not the ones the children play at, but one diagonally across, making sure it doesn't go onto the driveway. This particular day though, the snow was a little bit harder to shovel, because the children were bringing bottles of water and throwing the contents onto my snowy driveway. They started targeting me with a couple snowballs and screeching, and I mean screeching, about how they want me to play with them. And just so it isn't weird, I'm 14, not like an old dude. I say that no, in fact, I don't want to play with them, and they start bawling and run back to their house. Next couple minutes go by and I'm just shoveling until the mother comes over. M, why won't you play with my damn kids? Me, because I'm shoveling? M, that's not an excuse. I demand you play with them immediately. Me, no. At this point, the mother stomps the ground, and me, not wanting any of her BS, goes inside my house. Her being persistent decides to knock on my door. My mom go to the door asking what's up. M, your son was being rude and punched my children and threw snow on them. My mom, sorta laughing, no, he didn't. M, yes he did. No, he didn't. I heard you through the damn walls and this is the first time I'm hearing about any punching. M, scoffs, whatever a-holes. And leaves. Next time, I'm shoveling indoors. These kids can't get anybody their age to play with them? Wow, probably because of that mom NGL. And what kind of lunatic asks a 14-year-old stranger to play with their kids? Do they think perverts magically start at 40? Not calling you a pervert, OP, obviously. Hand her the shovel, here'll play with your kid if you finish my driveway. It would be a shame if those snow bunkers somehow filled up with snow overnight and then a thick layer of ice formed on top. Just saying. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.